Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Spring Town Hall. I'm Angela Rowe, Director of Strategic Alliances in the Office of Academic Affairs, and I'm honored to serve as your MC today. Thank you. Thank you. It's so wonderful to see so many of you here in person today, and a warm welcome to those joining us virtually. This town hall reflects a fresh approach, one that brings more voices into the conversation and focuses on timely topics that matter deeply to our college community. Today, we'll explore the powerful role of experiential learning and advancing student completion and post-completion success, a key focus of our transformational aspirations. You'll hear directly from students, faculty, and staff about how real-world learning opportunities like internships, employment, hands-on projects are helping students reach their goals, whether that's completion, transfer, or career success. We'll also hear an important update on the college's reaccreditation process. So let's get started by welcoming our president, Dr. Jermaine Williams.
Thank you. Thank you, Angela, so very, very much. And welcome, everybody. Welcome, and it's a pleasure to see you. I know there are people sitting in the back. We do have seats up front, just saying. Raise your hand if there's a seat next to you that's open, just in case folks want to, okay. Well, in case people come in, let's make sure we invite them into this place and space. So thank you again, Angela. Thank you, everyone, for being here. This town hall really, it represents something important, and as you heard, we have a fresh lens and approach to really engage in more voices. And I think about this town hall and where we are as a community, as the community of Montgomery College, as our county, our state, our nation, just and beyond, and so much. So much has changed. There have been so many shifts. I think one of the common phrases that we've heard, regardless of the kind of business industry or where you are, is kind of the ever-evolving situation, right? Things are, consistently in flux. So when we think about the ever-evolving situation, I do, before we take flight into our student panel, just want to center us on, regardless of the shifts that have occurred, Montgomery College has stayed true to its mission, right? We have met the moment we think about transitions in the federal workforce, and I look at many people here who have helped to stand up numerous job fairs, one specifically to support our displaced federal workers who were in STEM fields that saw 10 employers and more than 100 individuals attend our Germantown campus for a full day of support, a full day of getting to know businesses, a full day of on-the-spot interviews, of headshots, of resume reviews. Again, Montgomery College meeting the moment. So whatever ways in which the world, however local or global, shift, it is something that I take great pride in, working with all of you and putting forward our efforts to advance this college and our community by staying steeped in our mission, staying steeped in our values, recommitting to, reaffirming our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, holding up our strategic plan goal of creating a sense of belonging for everyone at the institution. I've said it before, so I won't be too long with saying it again, but these ideals, they are what make Montgomery College Montgomery College. They are also what make us special as a community college, right? The founding ideals of creating a high-level academic experience that is geographically accessible and affordable to the communities that we serve. That is our proud history as a sector. And in order to do that well, as we have been for almost 80 years, we will be 80 years old in 2026. Give it up for Montgomery College. In order for us to do that, and that is our tradition, we have had to lean into diversity, equity, inclusion, and we have done that, and we have now, recently a policy to support that. And our policy review process actually has a DEI lens as of recently, where all policies are reviewed through that lens. And our work that is steeped in diversity, equity, inclusion, and creating a sense of belonging, it continues. And not only does it continue, but it advances and it propels, right? We are moving it forward, right? We're not just maintaining. So it's something that I'm very proud of, and just really honored to be here day in and day out, whether it's a physical space or a virtual space, shoulder to shoulder with all of you and individuals who are not here, as we really seek to support each other in an effort to provide our students and the residents who we seek to serve with the best opportunities possible, right? The opportunities that have economic, social, and community impact, the opportunities that lead to a family-sustaining wage that yields individual upward social and economic mobility that foreshadows intergenerational mobility, right? The social transformation that we are here to actually create. Right, that's the beauty of who we are, and that will not change. And while this town hall is not necessarily about some of the things that have been shifting, did want us to level set, especially during this time, and just kind of illustrate where we are and the pride with which we go about our minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day, week to week, so on and so forth efforts at this beautiful place that we call Montgomery College that impacts so many lives. So thank you all for being committed to the efforts. Thank you all for being committed. Come on in, Mitzi. Thank you all for being committed to the work. It is deeply appreciated by me and so many others, everything that folks do day in and day out. So on that note, when I think about day in and day out and so many things that occur, so many strategies, so many practices, so many endeavors, today we want to shine a light specifically on experiential learning. And that's what some of our students are going to talk with us about. And I want to clarify, because experiential learning, people are probably thinking about a lot of things, but really we're going to focus on learning that involves action, engagement, and opportunities for reflection that are embedded within kind of the real world structures, right? And it's funny, I was in a conversation the other day with a bunch of us, a bunch of you, we, I, us were in a conversation, and someone said, well, look, what are we, how are we preparing students for the real world, right? And one of the members of the group was like, well, I would say that this is the real world. So when we think about that, I think that statement is truest with community college students, because our students, they are vacillating in terms of different identities and different phases, right? Our students don't live in student housing. Our students, didn't go to a small or large, private or public liberal arts college where they're spending 4 or however many years solely focused on academics. So when we are engaging with our students, it is the real world, because they are coming to us day in and day out from the places and spaces where they live, the places and spaces where they need to navigate. And before they hit our classroom or our counseling offices, they might be in a third, phase of identity for that day, right? In terms of being a son, and then maybe being, a caregiver, and then maybe another identity phase, and then they in front of us as a student, right? So this is preparation for the real world, because this creates elements and has elements of the real world. So when we think about that, experiential learning, these could be internships, projects, and other coursework, fieldwork, competitions, partnerships that bring learning to life. They also, as we know, build confidence, competence, and career readiness. And when we think about that, confidence, career readiness, and within that competence and confidence, I always want to make sure we uplift kind of the civic engagement piece, right? Because you hear a lot of talk about, family sustaining wage, right? But I do want to let's remind us in terms of our transformational aspirations, this idea that our educational opportunities will have economic, social, and community impact. Right? So when we think about that confidence, competence, career readiness, civic engagement is infused within that confidence and competence and career readiness. So on that note, we've invited several students to share with us today. So I will, as I call them up, they will join us, and then we will learn more about them. So Juliana Rosario is here with us. We can give them a round of applause one by one. Gerald Ryan. Gerald Ryan is with us. Nora Kanakalis is with us. And Muz Mill is with us today. Awesome. So I'm going to come over here to the transition piece, make sure I don't fall. Thankfully, there are no wires. I will say it later, but I will also say it now before we turn to our panel. Let's give a round of applause for everyone who has made today possible, MCTV, everyone who has been engaged in this process. So can we give them a round of applause? Fantastic. So we're going to start with a really easy question, all right? It's about your understanding of thermodynamics. So, no, I'm joking. All right, we got some. All right, everybody's paying attention. All right, here we go. Let's start off, though. Please introduce yourself, your name, your major, professional goals, please.
So my name is Gerald Ryan, not Juliana, but I'm a fourth semester nursing student. I would say my professional goals in game is to become like a nursing informaticist, but currently just trying to get some experience in bedside nursing and become an RN pretty soon.
All right, thank you, Gerald.
Hi, my name is Muz. I'm currently studying electrical engineering. My end goal, I would also say, is somewhat working in robotics, automation, that type of thing. But currently, I'm working at Hughes for a network system. We're currently doing stuff with private 5G. Really excited about that. So I'm trying to get as much experience as I can.
Awesome.
My name is Juliana. I'm a communication studies major. This is my last semester, and I am so open-minded about the communications world. I love every aspect of it. I love public speaking. I love social media. I love journalism. So I don't know exactly what specific side I want to go on, but I just love communications.
Fantastic.
Hi, I'm Nora Kanalakis. I'm in my third semester at Montgomery College, and I'll be graduating in this May. I'm completing 2 certificates, one in video production and then one in media production. I also have a bachelor's from the University of Vermont in anthropology and Spanish. My career goals is, so I'm currently working at Montgomery College Television, and so I'm also looking for a job to jumpstart my career outside of that. Looking for a job in video production, but my end career goal is really to do underwater oceanography and documenting underwater worlds for sparking ocean conservation. But yeah, so I'm here now.
This is the part of the situation where it's really hard for me to stay on script because they're so interesting. I want to ask them all individual questions that have nothing to do with what has been prepared. However, don't fear. We will stick to the script. Someone just make sure I stay okay with time. But so let's please just kind of go down the line. If you could share an experiential learning opportunity that you've had at Montgomery College, and how you feel it has impacted you around your academic progress and your personal and professional goals that you've identified.
Okay. So in nursing, I feel like experiential learning is kind of just embedded into it itself. I think I have my last clinical of the program next Tuesday, and I think that'll cap off about 500 hours of clinical experience for the whole program. And but to speak to just one, last Saturday we had the MCI, which it turns the health science building into like a mini hospital, and we run a simulation of like a mass casualty event. So everybody takes a role. The fourth semester students take a role as a nurse. I was the charge nurse of the ED, so I was getting like all the patients that had broken bones and crush injuries. So we assume that role. The staff, they don't really help us. They assume that we know what we're doing, we're competent, we're capable, and that's built up over the entire program. So we have to assume that role. We take our duty seriously, and we kind of suspend reality in that event, and we're caring for the patients as if they're real life patients. So
That's awesome. And it was an earthquake this year. Was that?
It was an earthquake,
It was an
yep.
earthquake. Mass casualty event was an earthquake this year. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, Muz.
So at least for me, the stuff that I've been doing at Hughes, I've only really started working there around January, so I'm still learning the ropes when it comes to working in an office environment. But the stuff that I have been working or doing at Hughes have been really, I suppose, eye-opening in a sense when it comes to just the office experience that I haven't really learned when it comes, like, the stuff that I learned in classes is very different from what I've learned in the office. And so just having that experience, having that office space experience is just really exciting. And especially when it comes to radio frequency engineering, the type of stuff that I've been doing at Hughes, also has many ties when it comes to the things that I'm learning in school and back. Like I probably wouldn't have learned the, or I wouldn't have known the type of stuff that I've been learning at Hughes if it weren't for the education that I've learned at Montgomery College. So,
That's great. No, it's great. I'm hearing a theme. It's a practical application in real-world settings or business settings. And please, Juliana.
One of my favorite things that I've been working on at MC is working with the school newspaper. So I go to the Tacoma Park campus, and so I'm with the Excalibur, and I love it. Just learning, first off, like interview skills and how to be very to the point whenever I'm interviewing someone. I need to ask really important questions in like 3, 4, 5 minutes. So that's been super helpful. And my writing skills have gotten so much better just because of being in the Excalibur. I always think about what can be appealing to my audience. So that's how Excalibur has been helping me a lot, just thinking about my audience a lot more. So therefore, my English papers, I think, have gotten a lot better because I think of my audience. And then also, I have an internship that I got through Montgomery College. It's with the Affordable Housing Conference of Montgomery County. And I work with their social media, I work on their newsletters, and so just like the Excalibur, I always think about my audience. How can I even capture my audience? How can I get their attention? How can I just be impactful to them? So that's how in Montgomery College I think about how I can do the same thing for my classmates, my papers, my academic writing things, I'm a lot more conscious about just the audience, the thing that the professors have been saying for years, it makes sense now, and I realize like how it's so important because of these opportunities of learning,
Thank you, Juliana. Nora, please.
Yeah, so I did just want to say that I am continuing at Montgomery College. I'm going to be doing 2 more certificates in photography and graphic design. But I really engaged in experiential learning, and what that looks like for me is my internship at Montgomery College Television. And then I'm also the secretary for SMT, and SMT stands for the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers. And then lastly, I've been engaging in networking events in the community. The University of Maryland put on a networking event. It was kind of like a crash course in journalism. It's called FaceTime with the Pros. And then kind of like digging into those areas that I just touched on, I've been able to work through Montgomery College Television on these nonprofit public service announcements. And so what that looked like was there was nonprofit organizations that were selected from the community to come to MCTV, be in the studio and have access to like our equipment to basically create short 1-minute public service announcements supporting, promoting their local businesses and putting out a message to the community. And so students, like I got to actually take that footage and create the 1-minute video, and so that was a really good portfolio piece for myself, but then it's also something I can give back to the organization, to the Platform of Hope. That's the organization that I worked with, and they can take that home with them and have something tangible for their business too. And at SMPTE, we've had a couple events now. We had the film festival, and I got to put one of my short films in the film festival, and I was able to get feedback from the community about my work, and so that was awesome. And then I helped put on the Media Forward event, which was a networking event for students on campus to meet with professionals in the industry, and I also got to run that production, and that was just super exciting, just to like really be building my network and meeting professionals and also running a production and then doing the editing side of that. And then the FaceTime with the pros was once again like meeting key industry professionals and just like taking it one step further, like past the classroom, and just like building my skills as like a professional too.
That's awesome. Thank you, Nora. Thank you, thank you. So, Juliana, coming to you. Audience, right? Think about it. Audience for the next question. The students.
Okay.
Should focus.
Yes.
All right. So all of you are going to get this question, but you get it first because I know you've been focusing on the audience. So what would you share and what advice would you give to a student who is about to interested in engaging in experiential learning at Montgomery College?
I would recommend to students to apply to everything, to all opportunities that they can get a hold of, just to apply to everything. I would advise students to give every opportunity a chance that might fit their major especially, but don't knock down your blessing, don't block your own blessing. You never know what the next opportunity has in store. You don't know who some great people that you can meet at the next, I don't know, even volunteering event. Those things can also like feed into experimental learning, in my opinion. You can gain something out of everything, so I would encourage students to just try as many things as they can, especially on campus.
Yeah. It's like the only thing I turn down is my collar, right? Everything else is open, right? It's all right. All right, Nora, please. What are your thoughts?
I think an advice that I would give to like fellow students is, like take advantage of classroom opportunities to really build on real world skills, and then for me what this reminds me of is I was participating in the Why It Matters production put on by Montgomery College Television, and there was a speaker that came to talk about sort of like he used a metaphor of like going down 2 lanes at Montgomery College, and like one lane is sort of like you go to class, you do your homework, you go home, kind of like rinse and repeat. And then the other lane is like you go to class, do experiential learning, go to clubs, network, really put yourself out there, be a part of the community, engage, and like kind of like put your career, just build upon like real world life skills. And so that's kind of like what I've been doing at Montgomery College. Like I've been going down like the lane 2, and it's really helped me, like even more than like being at my 4-year university. It was like there was a clear boundary between like classroom and like career, and I felt like what we did in the classroom was a lot of like theory and theory and application of work. And then once I began my career, I worked as a content creator, and that was just very different. That was like real world. So I think just like having those opportunities now while you're at Montgomery College it's been amazing for me just to like be able to kind of like I'm taking a step, it takes me one step further into the real world, and kind of like I go beyond the classroom, and so I'm working on my career, my professional aspects of myself now. So just like you don't have to wait till after Montgomery College, or after even if you go to like a 4-year, after 4-year to get started. Like just do it right now, because Montgomery College has the opportunities to offer, just like there's so much, so just take advantage of it. So.
Here another theme, take advantage of all the opportunities. So, Muzz.
Yeah, piggybacking on taking opportunities, one thing I would probably recommend is probably talking with professors. I would say how I got my internship, it was less, honestly, kind of looking up things myself, more so talking with the people that kind of understand, like, the programs that are going on. I probably wouldn't have this internship if it weren't for my professors just talking, asking what things that I need, what things that I don't need, the things that I should put on my resume, things I should look up. It was really instrumental, just like understanding what employers want and what employers need from you, and don't sell yourself short, too. Don't think that, oh, I don't think I have enough information, I don't think I know as much as the next guy, that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I was probably in the same position, too, before, when I was like, oh, there's so many other people that are stronger than me, there's so many people that know more information than me, but if you don't put yourself out there to begin with, if you don't try and ask for information, if you don't try to ask your professors or your students or your teachers or your other colleagues of what other opportunities are there, what other programs should I be looking at, then you're just going to be in a circle of, well, I don't really know what to do. Many other people understand, many other people know more, so getting information from them is probably, at least from my understanding, is probably the best course of action, I would like to say.
Thank you. Bring us home, Joe.
They took all the good answers.
I couldn't keep letting you go first.
But I would echo what all them said, especially Juliana with the taking in as many opportunities as you can. I know for me, any outside experience, volunteer opportunity, I've taken it. And another thing within the nursing program, I would just say take it serious. We work a lot of times with mannequins and people that are playing a role or they're just reenacting something. And in that moment, yeah, it's a mannequin. I mean, it's fake. It's not as realistic, but tomorrow it's going to be somebody's mother. It's going to be somebody's father. It's going to be somebody's grandparent. So in that moment, you're not going to be able to make a mistake. You have to take it serious, and when you can make those mistakes and those learning opportunities, so when you get in the real world, it's no room for error. You can kind of treat it and be realistic, and you'll have that experience for when you're in the skills lab with the mannequin and playing around with them, to when you're in clinical and you're working with somebody's family member, you can take it serious and you know what to do.
All right, thank you. All right, I know we're getting close to about that time, but so lighten around. All right, ready? How can the college better promote or support experiential learning? Lighten around. Who wants to go first? You want to go first? I can see it. I see it. All right, I'm not falling for that trick again.
So I think the nursing program already does a very good job with giving us a lot of hands-on experience. The only thing I would say they need to add is maybe giving us more volunteer opportunities.
More volunteer opportunities. Who's got it?
I'll do it.
All right, Muzz.
I would probably say maybe the professors giving recommendations, if there are programs and stuff like that that need more people, professors, I want to say give them a obligation almost to hand over students that hey, this guy has really good potential. I think this guy would be really good for your program. That type of thing. Recommendations, I feel like.
Okay, more opportunities, recommendations. Juliana?
A student-friendly version of Insider MC. Right now, the emails that are sent by Insider MC, all the student-relevant things are at the bottom, and I don't think students even check that email or realize that it's important. Yeah. So have a student-friendly version of that.
More opportunities, recommendations, student-friendly version of Inside MC. All right, Nora, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I would just say really making it really easy to know which clubs are available on campus, and making it easy for students to know how to create a club on campus that doesn't exist, and just making the faculty faculty support is really apparent, because I think with the Society for SIMPTE, it's really been just so key to have a faculty member that has all the industry contacts, and then bringing those people into the classroom and sort of teaching about their real world experience. So just making clubs really readily available, and knowing that there's supports to how to start your own club, that's possible. Yeah.
Right. So opportunities, recommendations, updating Inside MC, student-friendly, and leveraging clubs. We have this awesome audience, and I'm about to get scooped, I know. But one question from the audience really quickly. Okay, first hand. All right, Professor Baker, this is going to be quick. Yeah, it's so everybody can hear.
Okay, so
quick question, quick answer.
I've listened to all four of you, and I was beyond impressed. One question I have for you is pretty much each one of you talked about opportunities, taking what you can find, getting everything you can. If you were talking to a room full of first-time, 30-plus-year-old college students, how would you leverage that advice?
Well, I'm 30 plus, so I guess.
There we go.
So I think the hardest thing for, I hate to say older because I'm not that old, but I hate to say non-traditional college age students is it's never a bad time to take that first step. College can be kind of intimidating, especially if you've never experienced it or you're not accustomed to that lifestyle. But once you get in, you have a lot of support that you might not have realized before you make that initial opportunity to make the decision to go back to school or start school after you've kind of grown a little older. So I say it's a lot of support out there. Make the first step. It can be kind of scary, but make that step and you'll have a lot of support along the way.
All right. Anybody else want to hop in before we close out? Nora, go for it.
Yeah, so I would just say basically, just really get involved and, don't be afraid of trying a new experience. And I really think that too, it's I think usually when individuals are at, maybe 30 plus years old, most likely they're having a clear idea of their career path going forward. But if they don't have that, really solidifying what their objective is, and then just fall in line with the classes that are going to take them in that direction, and just really integrate all of their work outside of the classroom together, and just get used to the classes. And it just takes a little bit to get used to being in school again, but you'll get the hang of it. And there's people to help you and resources if you're falling behind. And I've just really found that at Montgomery College, it's the students the teachers match where the class is at, and usually they don't just leave students behind. So they're really coming, it's a classroom environment, and we're all going together to create good products for our portfolio. Or, I'm in media and video production is for our portfolio. So. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, Nora, Juliana, Maz, Gerald, thank you all for sharing with us just the impact of experiential learning. It really does illustrate the possibilities and the successes, and helps us continue to support you and your peers and the residents who we seek to serve. So thank you again. Can we give our panel a round of applause, please? All right. Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you to our students for sharing your inspiring experiences. Now it's time to hear from some of my colleagues, faculty and staff who are helping to make those experiences that the students just discussed, they help make those experiences possible, and connecting students to success beyond the classroom. So I'm going to ask each of them, you know who you are, to come forth. Have a seat. I'll meet you over there. Any order you choose. Any order you choose. All right, how's everybody doing? Great. Wonderful. Now, I know who you are, but if you would take the time, starting down there with Mr. Eric Myron, and introduce yourselves and tell me about how your work connects to post-completion success.
All right. My name is Eric Myron. I'm the college-wide Director of Student Employment Services, and my department teaches students effective job search skills and facilitates connections with employers. Over the last year, we worked with 4,000 students and over 1,000 employers through job fairs, on-campus recruitment events, individual student appointments, and through our very robust College Central job board.
Thank you.
I'm Sean Fay. I'm the coordinator for the Criminal Justice Department up at Germantown campus. I'm also one of the faculty advisors for our discipline. So Basically, my role as a faculty advisor is helping students to succeed, right? And in terms of succeeding, trying to meet their long-term academic and realistic career goals. Sometimes in criminal justice, people come in and they want to be Batman, right? So they, that's not realistic, right? So, sometimes we have students from the gamut, right? We have students who come in, they're not really sure what criminal justice is. We have students that come in and think maybe I might want to join this profession. And we have students that come in and know exactly what they want to do. They want to go to law school or they want to transfer to a graduate program. So I think my goal is to try to give them some, academic advising, try to find out what their long-term academic and career goals are. And sometimes they change throughout the process. So that's always the first question I lead off in every setting with is, what are your long-term goals? And sometimes even in the notes, right, our academic notes in Starfish they'll change throughout the course and make sure that they're in the correct degree pathway to pursue their goals and transfer goals as well.
Of course. Thank you.
And I am Dr. Elizabeth Kirby. I am the Acting Associate Dean of Student Affairs at Tacoma Park. I support the Dean of Student Engagement, which houses our athletics, student employment services, student life, Tacoma Park, Solar Spring, counseling and advising, and then also supporting our behavioral intervention team. However, today really I'm going to be leaning into my role on the Maryland Transfer Initiative Intensive. It is a multi-year partnership with the Aspen Institute, MHEC, Maryland Community Colleges, and four-year institutions where we will be moving the needle to increase bachelor attainment for our college, community college students when they transfer to those four-year institutions.
I'd also like for you to lean into your role of counseling and talk a little bit about things we've done in the past with pre-transfer advising opportunities. I know you have the whole list. I know you, so I know this is true. Chantal Vilmer.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chantal Vilmar, and I serve as the Instructional Dean for the Department of Applied Technologies and the Godelsky Institute for Technical Education. We have 7 credit programs. I won't go through the entire list in the interest of time. We offer a variety of non-credit programs as well, and in addition to that, apprenticeship programs. So for today, I'm going to lean into what we do for apprenticeship programs. Most of our programs, our apprentices, when they do come to MC, this is a bit different because they are already employed. So it's sort of a situation where the employer, we're in partnership with a variety of organizations that we provide, not related training for the students, and that's what I'll lean into today.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Palma Katravas. I'm from the Engineering, Physical, and Computer Sciences Department, and together with my colleague, Dr. Lan Zhang, we serve as the Electrical and Computer Engineering faculty members. The turning point for me on the topic we're discussing occurred when one of my students, who was absolutely brilliant and who had children under the age of 5, took time off from a job that he needed to look for experiential learning opportunities. He applied and he applied and he applied, and I saw firsthand how difficult it was for him to find something. Then it happened to a second student in the same class. So we're going to talk about the efforts that we have been making to actively be involved in helping to build opportunities for students. Several of them, including one where the missing talent that is available here gets connected with, in this case, semiconductors and microelectronics through an NSF collaboration with University of Maryland and a couple of other things.
Well, Dr. Katravas, since you just nicely segued into my next question, tell us about these programs, these initiatives that you are creating for students.
Thank you. An opportunity arose to work with an absolutely phenomenal group. at the University of Maryland College Park. Our colleagues, Dr. Horiuchi, Dr. Abshire, Dr. Shah, and Dr. Kevin Daniels work in microelectronics and offered us an opportunity to define a program that would enable students to be trained for semiconductors and microelectronics. We started by talking with the students. We spent hours asking them how to define an internship opportunity so that it would actually work for them. And that included things like letting us know that a lot of the excellent opportunities are during the day when they have classes, that they needed the flexibility, that if they had to give up a job in order to take a temporary job, that it's just topics like that. And we created an opportunity where thanks to the flexibility of our collaborators, they can work either here, they can work at College Park, they can work at home. We have a winter workshop which is paid, in other words, as if it's a job, because students often work during the winter break. And we also, the program itself, which is called NSF Dream, is a 3-phase program that takes them from the classroom through an academic research opportunity all the way to an industry internship. It's an 8-month program that provides training, intensive training for about 2 weeks, and then 2 separate opportunities before they even transfer. And this is also in collaboration with the College of Southern Maryland, and we really had a wonderful time working with them.
Wonderful, and paid.
Paid the whole way.
That's what I'm talking about. That's excellent. Apprenticeships, huh? Share with us, please.
Sure, absolutely. So in our area, we partner with Steamfitters Local 602 to provide training for, related training for HVAC technicians. We also partner with the IEC, which is referred to, that's what we call them, and that's what they're known in the industry as well. The independent electrical contractors, we partner, but they're known as IEC. And so to provide related training for electricians, essentially, to train electrician technicians. And we also provide we partner with the Washington Area New Automobile Dealers Association, which is, their acronym is WNADA, and we provide related training to those students as well. So these apprenticeship program students, they work during the day for industry employers, and it's the employer pays for students to attend their programs, or our programs, and what they do in the evening, they'll come for the related training piece of it, the theoretical piece of it. So with WNADA, they also, it's a little bit more than theory. There's time in the lab as well, our wonderful automotive program lab. So there's quite a bit of time in there. And something that we recently, our most recent venture into apprenticeship programs is a collaboration with MCPS on youth apprenticeship programs. So last year, we had an opportunity to just go for it, and we did. And we created a youth apprenticeship program where MCPS students, these are juniors, so they begin their apprenticeship program in their junior year. They come to MC 2 evenings a week. And for their junior year. And as a matter of fact, we're on our 2nd cohort at this time. It's fully funded by MCPS. And so we work in collaboration with the employers as well. And in their senior year, that's when they go into the industry and they work for a property management organization, a company of sorts. And that's how they get their professional training, their hands-on training. So there's quite a bit that we do, even across the board with our credit programs, our non-credit programs, but primarily with the apprenticeship programs. I think it's really wonderful that they're able to secure this educational experience, and it's free. And, you know, it's really a proven model of earn while you learn. And it's just a very rewarding opportunity for students.
Earn while you learn. I like it. Thank you. Dr. Kirby, talk to me about my fantastic friends in counseling and advising and what you do specifically to help students with their post-completion success goals.
Indeed, yes. So unfortunately, in the state of Maryland, transfer is so complex. So really the starting point is to meet with a counselor or program advisor, but I'm going to brag on my counselors. So we need to bring this. And so what they do is they talk to the student, see where they're at. Sometimes students know exactly where they want to transfer to, and some like, I have no idea. Some say, I really want to be a nurse and I want to go to College Park. So we do that education piece, as I know all my counselors are smiling. College Park does not have a nursing program. This is a common mistake. So we help our students develop these educational plans that's built in with career and transfer. And so our transfer expertise and our counseling and advising really assist students on that process and that journey. They help them make connections with our pre-transfer counselors or representatives from the four-year institutions. We have these reps on campus so that way students can meet with them. We make referrals and they meet with these pre-transfer representatives to help with that transition and that navigating of the complexity of transfer. And I will say, this is a collaborative experience, so we are always working hand in hand with our academic affairs friends. So we assist with transfer fairs, transfer events. We support students and promote that with students. Please go talk to these reps. Please lean into that. Talk to the experts. And what I really liked, a couple years ago, we were able to do a pre-transfer academy with counseling and some friends in academic affairs, where we got to have 2 cohorts of students go through this pre-transfer academy where students were supported and helped navigate this complex process specifically to their needs. Because I can talk all day long about transfer, but what's tripping up a student, they need to share that with us. So they shared what was tripping them up, and we guide them. And I just want to share an example of a student. We had a student who was a recipient of a Jack Kent Cook scholarship, right? Brilliant. And I'm getting the wrap-up face. However, I just want to share. This process is so complex, we had to sit down with her when she got her acceptance letter on how to navigate, how do I transfer successfully to this institution once I got in. I'm all done.
Professor Sean Fay, talk to me about a challenge or an obstacle, something that keeps you up at night when we're talking about post-completion success in criminal justice.
So I think the one thing is we still have students that self-advise, and that's a problem for us. One of the things that we've tried to do, especially with those students who are unclear on what they want to do early on in the program, is we try to offer them a lot of different experiential and career exposure. We host our annual Career and Criminal Justice Day with the Employment Services Office. We get about 20 to 30 career agencies that come in and talk about careers in corrections and law enforcement, working with the courts, private industries that students don't even think about are related to criminal justice. We also have classroom speakers, internships. One of the biggest programs that we're involved in right now is our police cadet program, where we've partnered with Montgomery County Police, the Gaithersburg Police, and Washington Metropolitan Area Police, and we have students that participate in that program. Out of the 21 cadets at Montgomery County Police, 5 are current MC police or MC students, and another 5 are former who have transferred out. So, and the Gaithersburg Police Department was actually just on the Germantown campus yesterday with 2 of my former students who are cadets and are transferring to the police academy in the next class. So I think trying to get students we have a lot of opportunities, and trying to get students to take advantage of those opportunities is one of our biggest things. You know, we have big things like cadet programs that are paid experiences, but we also have really small things like ride-alongs where they can go and sit in a police car and ride along. I always tell students, before you commit to 2 years or 4 years in an academic institution, make sure this is really something you want to do. And sometimes they do a ride-along and they say that was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. I don't want to do that. Or sometimes they say it's the greatest thing I've ever done, and I really want to do that. And you know, it's so. I think all those things have been great exposures. We now have a Milo use of force simulator that puts students in real life situations. So all of those things are big impacts. You know, we also want to make sure that our students are transferring to the institutions that they want to, and so we've created transfer agreements. Our most popular are University of Maryland and University of Maryland Global Campus, but in a recent student survey, students indicated interest in Towson University, so we're in the process of formulating an agreement with them, as well as hopefully a future one with George Mason University, because students have recently indicated some interest in their criminal justice program as well. So.
Thank you so much. And Eric, I'm going to ask you to wrap it up for us. If you can tell us, first, thank you so much for the help that you've given me with the transformational aspirations and integrating career opportunities, right, across the journey of students and into the educational process. So tell me something good. Tell me something that's going on that you'd like for everybody in this room to know about.
Well, I guess I just want everyone to use our services, because right now, the average person is going to change jobs 12 times in their life, and they're going to change careers 3 to 7 times. So knowing how to conduct an effective job search, how to navigate that process is a critical skill for students. They're going to use it throughout their lifetime. So that's my wrap up.
Thank you so much. Everybody, let's give them a hand. I'm sorry about that. I didn't ask if there were any questions because I went over. So now we're going to keep on going, and we've just seen how essential experiential learning is to student success and how it connects directly to the college's mission. Now, let's shift to an important update about the college's Middle States reaccreditation process. A critical effort to ensure we continue delivering on the promises we've heard about today. Good? All right, good.
Okay, greetings. Hello, everybody. Buenas tardes. Bienvenidos. My name is Glenda Hernandez-Tittle, and I am very honored to be here serving as a co-chair for the Middle States reaccreditation process. I am joined here by Dr. Sylvia Hollis and Ms. Tanya Adelman. And again, I think I speak for all of us when I say that we are very honored to be serving in this role, and we're here to give you updates on where we are. This is going to be one, well, actually, many of you have already heard quite a few updates, but in the next couple of years, we will be sharing lots and lots of information with you as to where we are in the process, and more importantly, how to engage all of you, because this is about all of us as a college community. All right, but before we get started, I want to make sure that you find your true and false card, and you need to use them because I was up really late last night cutting these up and laminating them. And so throughout our presentation, we are going to have a few true-false questions, and on one side it says true and the other side says false, and we just want a little bit of engagement to see where you are with your knowledge of Middle States. We are going to go ahead and look at our first question. So true or false? True or false? Montgomery College is accredited by the American Association of Community Colleges. True or false? Fabulous, fabulous. All right, this is false. This is false. Montgomery College is accredited by the Middle States Commission on Higher Education. Many of us have been here with previous accreditations or reaccreditations. There are a variety of reaccrediting or accrediting bodies, but Montgomery College, we are accredited by Middle States, and we say MISHI for short. All right, so what is Middle States? As I mentioned, it's an accrediting body. However, it's a global institutional accreditor. They accredit not just throughout the United States, but also internationally. And it ensures institutional accountability, self-appraisal, and continuous improvement. Any good organization is going to be looking at how we can continue to reflect and improve on our practices as well as innovation. And the accreditation process uses a peer review and rigorous application of standards. Standards, how many standards? 7, yes, 7 standards. We're going to talk a little bit more about that within the context of the institutional mission. So again, you're going to hear a little bit more about it, but it's not just 7 standards standing alone right there. It's how do we meet those standards within the mission, the practices, and the very important work that we do here at Montgomery College. All right, next question, true, false? Montgomery College is seeking accreditation for the first time. Montgomery College is seeking accreditation for, okay, well, we will see each other again, and I will elevate the difficulty. All right, so the answer here is false. Montgomery College was first accredited in 1950 and has been continuously accredited since then. All right, so we have experience doing this. This is, I'm grateful that, you know, it's a big task, but I'm grateful that we have lots of experience. We have tremendous expertise within our institution of folks who are familiar with this process, our reviewers, and have been here for previous accreditation and reaccreditation. We were first accredited in 1950, shortly after opening in 1946, and the most recent reaccreditation was in 2018. How many of you were here for that? All right, so lots of you, that's great. You will notice that the last accreditation was in 2018. Our current status, we're preparing for the big spring 2017 reaccreditation. I just want to name that we went from, well, not we, Middle States went from a 10-year cycle to now an 8-year cycle. So that's why it's a bit earlier. And spring 2027 is when the big visit is going to happen. But we obviously do lots of preparation before then as a whole entire community. All right, the importance of accreditation. I think I was here in 2018 for the previous reaccreditation, but I think it's really hit me how incredibly important it is. Some of you may be familiar that it allows our institution to receive financial aid. Think about who we serve, how many of our students receive financial aid, how many of our students transfer credits. We heard from our student panel, we heard from our faculty panel on the importance of that. And it also measures quality and continuous improvement. Again, we are always trying to improve for ourselves, our students, our community, et cetera. Before I turn it over to Tanya, I know we are all doing really important work. Some of you may know I'm a teacher by training. I train teachers. I think that's the most important job that we can do, right? No, you know, if you're in counseling, that's incredibly important. If you're in nursing, that's incredibly important. So I show up here, we all show up doing this really, really important work in our units. However, I think, wow, if our students were not able to get financial aid, if our students weren't able to transfer, if we weren't able to continuously improve, right? So I'd like for us to be thinking about the bigger picture of the important work that we do here. And now I'm going to hand it over to Tanya.
Okay, so if you don't get this question correct, someone already told you the answer. So what do you think? The college is reaccredited based on 5 key standards. Let's see it. All right, you all are right there with us. We are reaccredited based on 7 standards that we need to meet or exceed those 7 standards. And what are those 7 standards, you may ask? I'm so glad you asked. Here they are. But given the time and given the fact that we're going to spend the coming year exploring these standards and their criteria with the college community, I'm not going to go into detail here, but what I do want you to see is that these standards touch every aspect of our college. Right? So every division, every unit, every department, you're represented here. And so it's going to be very important that we have engagement with all of you. So when those opportunities arise, do please plan to join us and share your voice so that we're sure to put together a report that is representative and inclusive of the whole college. Now this next slide is showing you how we've organized ourselves to take on this humongous task. So we have a steering committee, and our steering committee is ultimately responsible for preparing that self-study report and hosting that evaluation visit. There are also 7 working groups set apart who each are assigned one of the standards. And that group is individually responsible for coming up with the content that goes to the chapter that correlates with the standard, right? And each of these working groups have 2 co-liaisons, one of whom sits on the steering committee. So that way we have continuous and constant communication going back and forth between the steering committee and the working groups.
Get your cards ready. We have the last one. So, true or false, a team of evaluators will visit the college in the spring of 2027 to decide if we have met the Mishi standards for accreditation. Oh, excellent. Well done. Yes, true. A team is coming, 2027, but the work begins now. And so the rest of the presentation I have will give a general overview on the timeline, talk about the process itself, and also ways that everyone in here can be engaged. So we are now in summer 2025, and what that means is our group has already submitted the draft of the self-study design. The self-study design is a document that's kind of a guiding document. If you think dissertation, you have prospectus. What I propose to do, the dissertation is the body of the work that you actually do. That's what our self-study design is. It's a draft, it's an iterative process. We've turned it in. As of Monday, we had a wonderful meeting with our contact with Mishi that gave us feedback, and so we will revise that draft and also continue to make sure that we serve and respond to the standards that Mishi has. And so that's where we are in this process. We hosted that self-preparation visit, self-study, we call it SSPV, which is why I'm kind of tripping over it because I've gotten used to the acronyms. And we also, over the course of the summer, will work on gathering the supporting evidence that we need to make sure that we reach those standards. It's not enough to say that we've done the standards. If there's not evidence that shows how we've done it, it doesn't show. So that's where we are. What it took to get there before is members attended a self-study institute that was hosted by Mishi, drafted, of course, a design, populated working groups. Each working group represents each chapter, and also, of course, have already started gathering supportive evidence. Moving forward is some of the most exciting work for us, which is engaging with the community more robustly. It's one thing for us to have mapped out the plan. It's another thing for us to receive feedback and have a responsive engagement with the larger the one campus feel of Montgomery College, knowing what this looks like for Germantown, what this looks like for Tacoma Park, what this looks like for Rockville, as we build out our actual self-study report. That's what we're doing in the fall. So please keep your eyes open, and as you see announcements, please show up and bring a friend. We will be writing the self-study report, gathering more evidence, and over the course of preparing ourselves as we turn in the report, that visit that we will have in spring of 2027. Accreditation is a process, and as I said, it's very iterative. We receive feedback, we respond to it, we give them work back, and the goal is that at the end we will be successful. What that means is, so far, we are where we're supposed to be. We're not going to worry about tomorrow. We are working on what the assignments are for today. So where are we at this point? We've participated in that Self-Study Institute. We have met with our liaison and received really solid and substantive feedback. And so it's work that we understand and it's very clear that we can provide a response to. We also have a preparation for a team chair preliminary visit, either late fall or early spring. That's what's giving to us, and that's what we're giving to you. I know it would be easier to say this semester or that semester, but that's where we are. And also, lastly, we'll have our ongoing communication with MECE until we receive positive feedback, which is what we're looking forward to for the spring of 2027. And that concludes where we are in the process. In terms of engaging with future opportunities, what does that mean for you all? We would love for you to be invested and interested in the work and be vocal participants. So in terms of staying in the know, absolutely Inside MC, Monday Minute emails, these series of presentations. We're doing presentations across different units and different divisions, but also we're in the fall planning a little bit more robust engagement in-person events. Please invite us to your team and department meetings. We also have created some slide decks that we can share in case sometimes your time schedule for your groups is kind of tight. So we have information that we're interested in providing for you if you prefer to push it out that way. Apply to be a part of the working groups. We still have space. And attend listening sessions that we'll have in the fall 2025, 2026. And of course, the last piece is being an active participant in the process, which I think our students said it best, just how important it is to be an active vocal participant and thinking about audience. Our students are our audience, you are the audience, and our community writ large is the audience. So playing a vocal part and being a voice, it helps us all get to this, this opportunity, which is for us to have continuous improvement, and so our students can have their credits transfer, and so that our students can have no problem receiving financial aid. Thank you so much for your time, and with that said, I'll hand it over to Dr. Williams.
All right, another round of applause for our co-chairs, please. And just thank you to our student panel. Thank you to our panel of faculty and staff. It is great to have been here with everyone today. I am mindful of time, so I'll wrap it up quickly, but covered a lot of ground today, recentering ourselves with our mission, our purpose, hearing from students about opportunities that they love so much and that are so impactful for them. Our awesome faculty and staff who are creating those fantastic opportunities for our students. And of course, our three co-chairs who are really heading our reaccreditation process, which is so essential. In case you missed it, Dr. House was saying, for things like transferability of credits and financial aid, right? Essential work that you've been able to and we've been able to embrace throughout today. So thank you all for being here, whether it was in person, online, or you're viewing this after the fact. Very much appreciate you. I leave, again, with a deep sense of pride and energy, knowing that we are all working in concert to really create the change that we seek, change that will really, impact our society in a beautiful, positive way. So again, on that note, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here. Look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you.